the Hype 10, which alongside the Hype 2 are some of the models that have been overshadowed by Thea Audio's ever popular Hype 4. Of course, we've talked about the Hype 4 on the Hangout.audio channel as with the Hype 2, so all that's left from the Hype trio is the most expensive model, the $900 Hype 10. Let's just get right into it. The Hype 10 comes in with a 12-driver hybrid configuration consisting of 10 balanced armature drivers alongside 2 dynamic driver woofers in an isobaric configuration. Now, this isobaric configuration is consistent amongst all of Thea Audio's Hype models, which includes again the Hype 2, the Hype 4, and now the Hype 10. They all use the same isobaric driver. But what's different with the Hype 10 is, yes, it uses 10 balanced armature drivers, but on top of that, it also uses a 4-way crossover. And what the marketing would like you to know as well is that the Thea Audio Hype 10 uses all genuine Sony as well as NAOS BA drivers. None of that Chinese-made custom stuff. So depending on how much importance you put on that stuff, well, at least you know the Hype 10 has that covered. Now let's talk about the non-audio stuff. And in terms of the packaging, well, it's a Thea Audio product. You know that they are almost as sparse as they come. It comes in with a canvas carrying case, small, medium, large silicone tips, as well as small, medium, large foam tips. And that's about it. But at least when it comes to the cable, you're gonna get a fully interchangeable connection, 2.5 balanced, 3.5 single-ended, as well as 4.4 balanced. And when it comes to the build, yes, when you've seen one Thea Audio model, you've kind of seen them all. It comes in a full resin build with a metal nozzle. But one thing to take note of is that it's not a 3D printed shell, which means that it's not fully filled on the inside. What they have is simply a hollow resin shell with PVC tubes that are pulled out of it. So with all of that out of the way, let's now finally talk about the sound. So the Hype 10 is going to follow a similar-ish pattern with all of the Hype series IEM. Of course, the Hype 4 being the most meta tune out of all of them. The Hype 10 compared to the Hype 4 is, on a relative sense, going to be a bit brighter. It has slightly less bass and a bit more mid to low treble as well. At the end of the day, the Hype 10 is going to be a bright leaning set of monitors. Yes, it is going to be V-shaped, but definitely the V is more emphasized towards the higher end of the frequencies. The Hype 10 in a complete vacuum comes across as an IEM trying to push all of the details right into your face. If you're a detail head or a treble head, this is absolutely a signature that is specifically for you. You're gonna hear every last nuance, every small low-level detail, kind of whether you want to or not. But on the flip side, it could also be a bit unnatural. After all, when it comes to all these small lower level details, they are supposed to be closer to the background for a reason. But the Hype 10 doesn't care and just pushes it all in front of you, to some people's delight and to others' chagrin. Compared to the Hype 4, yes, I'm going to keep comparing to the Hype 4 because that's the common frame of reference. The Hype 10, of course, comes off with less bass because of its brighter tilt, but at the same time, the bass does sound a bit more controlled. Yes, I know they're using the same woofers, but that's just the beauty of tuning. Cutting or boosting one region would also affect the perception of the other. And in my case, I do perceive the Hype 10's bass to be a little bit faster relative to the rest of the frequencies. So now let's talk about the actual relative competition within the price bracket, and the most obvious comparison would be, of course, the Thea Audio Monarch series. The Monarch series comes in at one singular kilobuck, $999 and is the closest analog to the Hype 10. Most people would know my love for the Monarch Mark II, and I still stand by it. It is one of my favorite kilobuck IEMs even till today, and relative to the Hype 10, I would still pick the Monarch Mark II. Compared to the Monarch Mark II, the Hype 10 comes across as, again, more bright leaning, more aggressive. To some people, they might like this because there's the perception of detail that's pushed right up to you. But to others, this might come off as more fatiguing. The Monarch Mark II, on the other hand, comes off as more subdued, more natural, more matured to a certain extent, but to other people may come off as boring or simply just not exciting. In terms of the overall resolution and resolving power of both IEMs, I would actually put the edge to the Hype 10, though it's hard to tell whether or not it's because the Hype 10 just simply pushes so much of that apparent detail right into you. But for those of you who want that treble focus V-shaped sound signature but in a tri-brit configuration, well, there's still always the Monarch Mark III instead. The Monarch Mark III comes off as even brighter than the Hype 10, believe it or not, and I've talked about it on a separate video, so for those of you who haven't watched it, well, here you go. Give it a shot. Now let's talk about the shoulds and shouldn'ts, why you should consider buying a Theory Audio Hype 10 and why you shouldn't. You should if you're looking for that bright, leaning V-shaped response with a strong resolving power. This is a sound signature that leaves no flaws behind. Every small micro detail, every background nuance is pushed right to you all the way up to 11. Also consider the Hype 10 if you're looking for a sound signature that is similar to the Hype 4 or even the Monarch Mark II, but one even more mid-treble as well as high treble detail out of it. And definitely don't consider the Hype 10 if you're concerned about the hollow resin shell build, because the other build quality types will be much more durable than this. Also, don't consider buying the Hype 10 if you're someone who's afraid of treble, because as I've said, it is on the brighter side of a V-shaped signature. But hey, you don't have to take my word for it. You can always try it out for yourself at the Hangout. We're located at 200 South Bridge Road in Chinatown. Come on down, grab a cup of coffee or even an ice cream, and then ask for the Hype 10. And for those of you who are not privileged enough to be in Singapore, well, we can always come on down to hangout.audio, our online retail store. We ship globally and for free for orders over $30. This is critical for hangout.audio, and remember kids, if it's not on the list, it doesn't exist. See you next week.